Back, felt like it was a good summer, a really good summer. I've been able to spend time with the guys and really build towards everything that we've transitioned to. Um, Everybody's very hungry and excited to go to work, and we really focus on that. I'd say one of my main points coming in, especially talking to my teammates and getting a sense of where we are throughout the summer and where we're going, is just the importance of discipline and unity. And I can't emphasize enough how important it is to carry and protect the intimacy of this team and what we do, because it takes all of us.
So day one for the Philadelphia Eagles training camp really went better than expected, to keep it a buck, y'all. It looks like the offense got the better of the defense, if I'm keeping it a bean, and Jalen Hurts looks like he's on a mission. It looks like he's on a mission, bruh. We just got to get into it. So the Gowdens of the world, the ESPs of the world, the John Clarks of the world, they was on point. They was reporting. They was going in. Had a moment at work while I'm looking through these tweets where I'm like, damn, bro, I missed this shit. You know what I'm saying? But, dude, I just want to start with the first thing that I had seen uh, was here Darius Cooper making a diving catch over the middle from a ball from Jalen Hurts. Devontae Smith caught a perfect throw over the middle from the right over Quinyon Mitchell. So the reluctancy to feed his wide receivers, yeah, we don't know what the fuck y'all talking about, national media. All this bullshit about Jalen Hurts isn't going to make Devontae Smith great because of his reluctancy or whatever the hell it is. Nah, bruh. We were under center for most of practice, if not all of practice. Everything that, as fans, which is a rarity, by the way, because Nick Sirianni is honestly the king of trolling. Like, he'll do shit. He'll know the fans are asking for something and logically it makes sense, and he just won't do it because the fans are asking for it. Like, I've noticed that about Nick. He ain't fucking low when it comes to that. I know you be doing that shit, Nick. But in this case, I think because it was just super obvious of what the fuck needed to improve with this offense, that now, first day, dog, this is a perfect practice in my eyes. We'll get to the defense in a minute, but this is a perfect practice in my eyes for the offense. You're telling me we went most of the time under center, over half a dozen throws in the middle of the field, completed, by the way, I might add, and then Tank Bigsby got reps? Come on, bruh. Come on, bruh. I am fucking excited. I am ecstatic, bro. I am fucking ecstatic. Um, I will say, Makai Lemon kind of being on the quiet side, kind of. I mean, I'm not gonna say it worries me. Nah. I'm not gonna say it worries me, but the fact that we seen Dontavian Wicks getting catches, Darius Cooper getting catches, of course Devontae Smith getting catches. Not hearing Makai Lemon like making a spark on day one, it was a little disappointing, but not like, I'm not saying the dude's a bust or anything like that. Like, he's gonna get his legs from under him. I do gotta also remember he's coming back from like a hamstring or calf injury. So I'm not gonna just sit here and be like, oh, Makai Lemon. Nah, he gonna step his shit up. We gonna see him get reps throughout camp, and don't be discouraged by not hearing anything from Makai Lemon. But dude, Hurts looked super fucking comfortable. Um, you know, all the throws were in the intermediate part of the field, the 15 to 20 yards part of the field. We know Jalen Hurts could throw the short pass, could throw the hitches, could throw all that good shit. People wanted to see him just be more of a risk taker. I know Jalen can make the throws, and Jalen even alluded to it himself in the presser, saying that, this is something that's in my bag. It's just we never did it, as or we didn't do it as often as maybe we're going to be doing it now. But I got it in my bag. I can do this. So I do like the fact that um, Jalen Hurts mentioned that. It seemed like Jalen Hurts is sticking up for the team and sticking up for himself more. You know what I'm saying? Like, it seems like now we're in a position where we're past the drama. Everyone's paid, everyone's good, everyone's happy, and we about to really take this shit to the next level of becoming a team. I think the one thing that Jalen mentioned when he opened up his presser today is he said we have to keep things internal and we cannot let anything get in between the intimacy of the togetherness of the team. And he knows how last year went. He knows what narratives have been spun. And he's taking that step and being a better leader for this ball club. And I love it. I love the mentality. I think that Jalen Hurts could really have a really, like, just from this practice alone, I'm almost ready to put a big parlay in for him to win league MVP this year because I know he could walk the walk. And the way that he's come off just this whole offseason, um, it just showed today. It solidified it for me. You know, everything was like, okay, he's doing his thing. He's getting people together. He's doing, but just to start off the presser without answering no fucking questions and just making it be known of what the fucking mission is. Jalen Hurts is the leader of this team. We go as far as Jalen Hurts takes us in all reality. And he solidified the fact that he's going to be the one to step up and take that initiative. He hears the chatter, bruh. He hears it all. But at the end of the day, he can only control what can be controlled. And that's practicing, getting those reps in, and making sure that we're ready for week one. So we're we might not be a well-oiled machine week one. No team is, but we're taking steps in that right direction to be great. And I love it. Now, one thing I do want to discuss was Jonathan Grenard was placed on the PUP list. He has a pectoral injury. So that's a big blow to the defense, bro. I do look at this as something that in the long run, we might be able to look back and say, this was a blessing in disguise. And I will explain why in a minute. At the end of the day, Grenard is Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni both confirmed that he will be ready for week one, and that it is a minor setback. And Grenard has dealt with multiple lingering injuries in the last couple of years. Last year, I think he only played like 12, 13 games, and he had a career low in sacks. So I think for him, it is a big blow for him because he's on a new team, got a new contract, and he wanted to, make an initial impression in camp. But rehab, we already know what you built like, Grenard. We already know you're going to be a contributor. Just make sure you're ready for week one, brother. Why do I say that this is a blessing in disguise? Because of the elephant in the room, Nolan Smith. I mentioned him in my last video talking about the Jalen Carter extension, which we'll get to in a minute because Jalen Carter also did address the media as well today. But for Nolan Smith, you got to look at this like, dog, all those reps he's getting, I'm going to be getting those reps now. But I also have someone like Arnold Ebikiki, whatever his name is. I'm sorry if I mispronounced home name. But Arnold from the Falcons, you still got that dude. You still got a couple of other, cats that are fighting for roster spots for that edge rusher position. So you can't be content. But at the end of the day, this got to be the next 2 to 3 weeks are super pivotal for Nolan Smith because Nolan Smith is fighting an uphill battle, unfortunately. Injuries, the off the field stuff that happened with the speeding, all this stuff is piling up on them. But now, this little bit of wiggle room that you done got with Grenard being out for the next 4 weeks, you got to ball out just as much as Hunt has been balling out. Jalix Hunt had a couple pressures today. Granted, we don't got the pads on yet, but Jalix Hunt, couple pressures today, already making his presence known. Nolan Smith needs to do the same thing these next few weeks, man. It's super pivotal for Nolan Smith to come out of the gates balling out this season. So that way, at the very worst, we can pick up the 5th-year option and possibly work out an extension with him next year. Maybe a small extension. Even if Nolan Smith were to go off for 12 to 13 sacks, I don't think Nolan Smith is a $30 million edge rusher. I don't. I don't even think he's a $25 million edge rusher, even if he does produce 10 plus sacks this year. Jonathan Grenard has multiple 10 plus sack seasons, and he only got 25 a year. Jalen Phillips isn't even at that peak yet. The Carolina Panthers were paying for the next 4 years of what Jalen Phillips could be. So essentially, Nolan Smith is a tier below those two guys. So even if Nolan Smith was to go off this year, I think we still can work out some sort of a small extension to keep him around and still possibly work out an extension for Jalix Hunt because Jalix Hunt isn't a free agent until next year. So I think for Nolan, this is huge. I wish the best for Grenard, and I hope that he can come back, maybe get like a week or a week and a half worth of reps in camp, so that way he's not like super cold come week one because we are gonna need our D line to ball out, bro. We're gonna need to. We're playing against a dual threat quarterback first week of the season, and Jaden Daniels, who he got a lot to prove himself in terms of, the injuries last season. And even when he was in the lineup, he didn't really play well compared to his rookie season where he was balling. So the Commanders will have a chip on their shoulder, and they always play us tough anyways, bro. So we're going to need our pass rush on full go for that, for that week. So I hope Grenard can get back with at least a week to spare. Still haven't heard word on if Brandon Graham is going to re-sign sooner than later. I think he does re-sign ultimately, but I just don't know if he's going to re-sign. I mean, he did mention in an interview a couple of weeks ago that he wanted to get a full camp under him. So I would assume that Brandon Graham will probably be back in the next week or two. Maybe we'll see. Um, but I also wanted to talk about Jalen Carter. Like I just said, Jalen Carter addressed the media today. Loved his answers and his mentality. Thanking God, thanking his family, thanking the coaches. No, what he mentioned about, when I first got here, my assurance to win a Super Bowl was the main thing. It wasn't about the money. And now that I got the money, I still don't think it's going to change me. The goal is to pile on more championships. And Howie Roseman mentioned something that a couple of weeks ago I made a video about, and it was about the fake Jalen Carter narratives about him being an off the field problem need to stop. And Howie Roseman said to the media specifically today that I don't know about any off the field problems with Jalen Carter since he's become. I'll let y'all hear the clip and we'll get back to it.
He's focused so much on football. He came back in phenomenal shape with his weight, with his conditioning test. So even with that contract still looming, he worked his ass off, and I'm proud of him for that. And that shows you the type of guy he is, and he'll continue to be, and excited for him to play ball.
I would say this. I don't know what off-field concerns. Since Jalen's been here, he's put his head down. He's worked hard. He's made huge impact plays for this organization, for this team. Last year, he wasn't 100%. He tried to fight through that and play through that. We understand that. Like anyone, when you're 25 years old, you're still growing as a person and as a player. I saw Zach Vaughn yesterday, and he made a great comment. He said to me, he's like, when I signed my contract, someone told me, you don't pay me for what I did, you're paying for me what I'm going to do.
So obviously, Nick and Howie and everyone were on board since March with trying to get this done. And like I said, bro, it's incredible how they'll gas up some players that be doing the most off the field, bro, that be doing the fucking most. And then because Jalen Carter made a terrible mistake by speed racing, which ended up in a tragic death of one of his friends in college, which he probably deeply regrets. You know what I mean? It's probably something that haunts him. Because of that one situation, now Jalen Carter has this whole stigma of him being an off the field problem. Granted, spitting on Dak Prescott isn't his proudest moment, and I don't think that is a full like representation of his character. I think he just got caught up in the moment. Week 1, Dak talking shit. Dak blew a little spit, but didn't blow it towards him. But yeah, but Dak ain't innocent in it, and I think Jalen Carter just reacted, and he got caught for reacting, and it is what it is. They tried to get away with a fast one, and they still fucking lost the game. Fuck the Cowboys. So at the end of the day, I think JC learned from all that. The shoulder injuries, you can't really control that. I think his rehab, he attacked it well. Coach Sirianni said he was proud of him. And now we move on. And we improve and we become that leader and we become that dominant defensive tackle that we know you could be, JC. So happy for you, brother. Funny thing is, like I said yesterday, I hope JD show up. JD was right there. And he definitely shouted him out as well. And he said, like, I was here for him and now he's here for me. And this is full circle. And that's what the brotherhood is about. He even mentioned that Jalen Hurts, I guess Jalen Hurts had a $5 bill that his wife slipped him in his book bag. But it was some sort of inside joke between them. And then he took the $5 bill and gave it to Jalen Carter. He said, add $5 to that, brother. Congratulations. So the togetherness is there, man. And now it's about the execution. And I think that's where the Mannion comes in. That's where Fangio comes in. That's where Sirianni comes in to make sure that this team is ready to go because we got the talent. Everything is there. Everything is lined up. Now, we also heard from Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson talked about the run schemes and how things are a bit different, how we're in a little bit more 3-point stances versus 4-point, where, we're going to get our fingers in the dirt a little bit. And, a lot of things are going to become more of a little bit of widespread. And, with this new offense, the zone scheme reads are going to be an adjustment for our offensive line because of how long they were coached by Jeff Stoutland. It's two different philosophies. We have the talent to do it, so I'm not really concerned about that. But I'm excited for Saquon and what Saquon Barkley said based off of, reading the line and reading the schemes, because it seems like Saquon put some work into the offseason on becoming more of a one-cut back. Saquon Barkley is a home run threat back. And what I mean by that is he's more of the back that likes to dance in the backfield until something opens up. And then he has the acceleration and the explosiveness to be able to go through the hole, run through the hole. And then once he gets to that second level, it's so easy with his acceleration, power, and just change of direction to be able to make a safety miss that's running downhill towards him, or to make a linebacker miss that just isn't as athletic as him. So that has been Saquon's bread and butter. And us being in a vertical zone run offense the last few years, really during the whole Nick Sirianni tenure, the vertical zone offense allows for a running back to dance because there's multiple zone reads that they can go from. Now we're more in a sideline to sideline type of offense. And what I mean by that is we're going to be more predicated on outside zone versus inside zone runs. We're going to be running a lot more stretch, crack toss. We're looking to get to the widest part of the field, and we're looking for our offensive linemen to almost create like a horseshoe to create that. In the past, it was more or less like body on body, drive them back. We're going to use our strength and power, and then our running back will be able to kind of dictate where he wants to go. This is more or less like the design of the run you need to follow. So that dancing shit, it ain't going to work in this offense because of the simple fact that everything and everybody on the line, the way that they're trying to move is to create that lane for you to just run through and run and find that lane. So when you get to that second level, then you can dance. And Saquon can do it. It's not that he can't do it. He said the last time that he was used to doing it was in Penn State, and or actually in high school. He said in Penn State they ran a lot more gun, but there was a mixture of that zone, that vertical. I'm sorry, that stretch type of offense. But now we're going to be depending on him to read, react, cut, and run. And I think last year we needed more of that, and the offense allowed for more of that because we were just so injured on the offensive line that hat on hat wasn't going to work. And that's why you've seen a lot of runs get stuff on first and second down last year, because hat on hat, like 2024 was, it wasn't going to work this year. So now we're not going to depend on that. Even though we're going to be healthy as hell, we're not going to depend on hat on hat. We'll probably depend on hat when we're up late in games and we're trying to rinse clock. But for the most part, we're going to set up outside vertical runs to run play action to eventually get into bootlegs. And it opens up the what? Middle of the field. And that is why it is super duper duper important that Jalen Hurts is getting the early reps that he's getting in camp right now, because come game day, week 1, week 2, week 3, we're going to be running the ball a lot more than the throws that he might be making. So we're going to be running. But if he has that repetition under him to run those stretches, bootlegs, and get out to throw to the middle of the field, then we're in great shape. We are in excellent shape. So I just wanted to let y'all know, bro, that this camp seems a lot different, bro. It really does. It seems like everyone is focused. Everyone is happy. And we're not satisfied, but everyone knows what the goal is. And it just feels like, it feels really good. It feels like one of them years where we're going to get something really good out of this year. You know, not going to call anything, not going to jump the gun, but I really think that this is a pivotal moment for our offense more than anything. And defensively, we're going to stick the course, bro. Everybody is still the same. We did see a little bit of Michael Carter, like as expected, playing some safety. Besides that, you've seen DeJean in the mix in base, as expected. Drew Makuba was out there, and so was Marcus Epps. So we got a 4-man rotation at safety. I'm comfortable. I'm not content. I wish Howie would make that move for Budda Baker. I personally do. I wish he would. You know, I get it. He might be like a $20 million cap hit this year, but like, dude, if you're trying to win, go get Budda Baker, bro. Go get a fucking safety where it's like, okay. Because one injury, bro, and it don't matter who it is. It could be Epps. It could be Makuba. It could be Carter. It's gonna hurt the team, bro. We need everyone. But if you got a staple at that safety position that could be opposite DeJean, and no matter what the situation is, and then you got Epps at depth for depth, you got Makuba for depth, or you interchange and then you could put Coop in the slot in some nickel situations where you have Makuba back there. One more safety makes this shit so interchangeable that we're a fucking problem. One more proven safety, I should say. But I'm going to let y'all go, man. This is day 1 of camp. Like, follow, and subscribe to your boy. This your boy Zaho Facts. And I will be back tomorrow, bro, for day 2 of training camp. Fly, Eagles, fly, y'all.